Good evening, and welcome back to a Dreamer's Paranormal Journal with Linda and Jason. Tonight we've got a couple of interesting topics to go over with you all. First one being aliens, UFOs. Are they real or are they fake? Kind of a sci-fi, non-sci-fi look into the alien world. And then second is new beginnings, goals for your new beginnings. How are you gonna make that work? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Linda, I'll let you take over.
Okay. Rita, do you hear music playing?
I'm just doing a music check.
Very fine.
We've been given some feedback that we need some music in the background, so that is what we're adding into the show.
Alright. So for our first topic today, I have noticed that one of the listeners let us know that she was that she was starting a new job this week. And I thought I would go over a few goals that she should, go by. If I can find it.
What kind of goals are these?
It's basically just for new beginnings. Look at a few tips for starting out strong and getting things going, motivation, keeping it flowing a little bit. Let's see. So the first tip that we have here is to be mentally prepared. And I will turn that down. Okay, first tip is to be mentally prepared. And honestly, I guess from what I see here is the hardest part, because you're over there stressing and freaking out that you don't know if you're going to be good enough, or if it's going to be easy, or if it's going to be hard, or if they're going to like you. Are
you speaking from experience here?
Yeah, well.
We've all been there. Whenever you're starting anything, if you are not mentally prepared to start, then there's no point of starting, because you have to be mentally psyched up to begin anything you want to do. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point of doing anything or starting anything new? Good point.
Right. And the next thing, of course, is having a good attitude about it. If you're starting something new, you don't want to go in there being grumpy or I hate this, or, if you're not going to like it, then there's no point in you actually trying to start in the first place. And I mean, if you need to be there, then you know what? Then you need to basically just suck it up and have a good attitude about it.
So what kind of things can you do to mentally prepare yourself to have a good attitude?
Think positive thoughts.
Okay.
Be positive about what you're doing.
Awesome.
See the brighter side of the negative. Regardless of what it is that you're doing that's new, you have to see the brighter side of it. Otherwise, you're just going to fail from the beginning, from the get-go.
And another good thing possibly is to look at what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And in any new beginning of what you're trying to do, there's obviously some positive result you want to see happen from what you're doing. So like with us doing this radio show, that was one of the things that Linda and I had discussed. This is going to be a good way for us good outlet for us to give help to people that are having trouble making goals. So we wanted to be as positive as we could through this. So you're looking at it. What are we trying to accomplish? This is what's going to give you the best attitude, because if it's something you're trying to accomplish, you're going to be invested in that. You're going to feel like that. This is what I need to do in order to make this happen.
I mean, and for that to also happen, you need to keep an open mind. Keeping an open mind in the workplace and in any situation is very good because you can also learn new things, as well as you can keep the old things, but you always have to be open to new things and have to get used to the new things without being basically a jerk. Because if you come off as a jerk, I mean, people are not going to like you, and there's no other thing, nothing else you can actually do. I mean, like say my workplace, for example. I mean, if we have to change something, that's where the open mind comes from. You have to keep embracing the change and keep going with the flow and hoping that it'll do better for you in the long run. I mean, you always want to keep the business growing, so in order to help that, you need to keep an open mind about change and what they want to do to change, make things better.
So very true. One good thing that can help you through that too is smiling. I mean, literally, when you're trying to start something, obviously, we all are going to hope for the best and hope everything goes the way it's supposed to, but nothing ever goes to plan. I mean, nine times out of 10, nothing goes to plan. So what do you do when it gets to that negativity? What are you going to do to help yourself get through it? Smiling is the best way to do it. When you're at that point where you're so stressed that you're like, oh, why am I doing this? What am I doing it for? That's when you stop and just smile. Look at it. I mean, smile changes everything. The attitude is contagious. Attitude is so contagious. One person can change the whole atmosphere of everybody else's attitude just by smiling and laughing. Maybe you don't want to hear that, or maybe you don't want to see that at that point. But changing it and seeing that other person just come out there, you can make a major difference just from that.
I mean, and also, paying attention to all the details that are going on. I mean, you're going to be overwhelmed by everything that goes there. You're going to see everybody. You're going to be so overwhelmed. But really, you're not there for them. You're there for you, and you need to pay attention to what the job is and what the details and what they're trying to teach you, or what your training is. The details are there, and basically the details are going to get you further. So just embrace the now by paying attention to those small little details. And of course, what I keep being told all the time, if you don't know, ask questions. I honestly hate asking questions because I feel like I'm weak if I do that. But if you don't ask questions, then you're going to look stupid. You're going to look like an arrogant person for not asking those questions and keep going. And I mean, if you keep asking those questions, it's going to look like you're actually interested, or you're actually paying attention, or you want to get clarification for something you didn't understand before. And for any kind of place, person, that kind of thing makes them more interested in helping you become a better employee or better at whatever it is that you're trying to do, even through dance or through music, or you're doing an instrument. Of course you got to ask questions. How else are you going to learn how to play the instrument, or how else are you going to learn that dance they're trying to show you, or combination, or anything? So if you don't know, you need to ask. Plain and simple. Asking is key. Now, asking questions and you notice that they're getting kind of annoyed, don't let that bother you. Honestly, don't let it bother you, because you need to know the answer to that. If as stupid as it may seem, and you feel like it's dumb, it's probably not. It's probably a question that they have probably answered a million times, but because you're new, they need to answer it again. Which means they're not doing their job right and telling you exactly what you need to know. But you asking those questions puts them in that place where, hey, I need to remember to start telling them.
They say the only dumb question is the one that was never asked. So If you think about it, I mean, literally, it's it's one of those things where you have to feel comfortable. And like Linda said, I mean, yeah, you're going to have people that are going to get annoyed because they don't want to train you. They don't want to show you the right way to do things, or because it's inconvenience for them at that point. But at the end, if you are checking for clarification on whatever it is you're trying to do, who can fault you for that? You're just trying to be the best employee or best person you can be for that task.
And remember, everybody, try to be friendly. Even as fake as it may be, just try to be friendly. I mean, like today, I'm going to say I don't care. One of my coworkers got caught being himself in front of the boss. Basically, she walked in on him yelling or scolding us for something that I wasn't paying attention because sometimes I just kind of block that out. I block out whatever goes on around me so I can do my job. But this specific point, we all had our heads down, so it looked like he was yelling at us like we weren't doing what we were supposed to do. And and she walked in on it. And it was hilarious because we're like, you finally see what we're talking about, but at the same time, you gotta be friendly, you gotta be nice about it. You can joke around, but there's limits to joking. And I noticed, we reach that limit every day of the joking around and making fun of people. And sometimes you just can't do that. You need to know your boundaries and your limits, but my problem that I notice I have is that when I get nervous, I start laughing. So when it comes to situations at work and I get nervous, I'll start laughing. So it comes across like I'm actually going along with it. But when I'm really not, I'm just like, this needs to stop. But that's the only emotion I have to control it, is just to start laughing. I don't mean to be mean, but it's just what happens. I can't avoid it sometimes. And then, of course,
and with that too, going back to the being friendly to everyone, there's kind of a real important thing that is with that. When you're starting a new job or you're starting a new business venture, what is the biggest thing that's going to make you successful in any of those? It's the relationships you have with the people that work around you. So exactly. When they say be friendly, it's not just to be friendly because you want to make everybody think you're a good person, but you're building relationships with the people that you work with, the people that that you're going to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So you have to maintain you're not there necessarily to be everybody's friend, but what the point is behind that is you're only going to be successful when everybody else is successful around you. So the relationships that you build with them will help you be successful at whatever venture you're trying to do. So yeah, obviously going in there, you're not going to want to go in there and be rude and be mean, because then nobody's going to want to help you, and then no one's going to want to help you be successful at what you're doing. So definitely real important to keep it. And then determine what your goals are. I mean, that kind of is a no-brainer. You're gonna get into where, okay, now I'm here, I've got this job, I've got this new business. What your goals are basically what you determine as what your success is. So in order for you to be successful, what are these goals that you're going to put in front of yourself to do that? So whatever job you're doing, whatever business you're doing, how are you going to measure success? And that's where your goals come in. You're going to determine what goals you need to put in order to make yourself successful, whether it be building relationships with the best people that are there, so that you become the best that you are. And they say surround yourself with the people that care about what is going on around them. I mean, this is why I know at work, Linda, she knows pretty much everything that needs to go around when it comes to the technical support of her office. So a lot of people, she's the go-to person because she makes everybody else successful, because she can complete things that they can't do.
Not all the time.
Not maybe all the time, but most of the time. she's the go-to person when it comes to it. I mean, her boss has even told me without having her there, that's what's gonna, that place would probably fall. And I'll tell you, when she's not at work, you can tell they're suffering because they're calling her left and right the whole entire time. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. That means that she's dependable. She's built that relationship with her peers that she's there for them if they need them, and she does that. And it's a team thing. You're building that. So going back to the goals part of it, what is your goal at work or business going to be? How are you going to be successful? And the only way is pick 3 to 4 goals, no more than that. If you do more than that, then all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure, because it's going to make you scatterbrained to what you're paying attention to. So you're going to pick 3 to 4 goals that are attainable. Don't go, okay, I want to make $1 million my first week I'm at work. Okay, I mean, literally, if you're only making $10 an hour, that's probably not going to happen. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to make my bonus for whatever work I'm going to. This is what I'm going to do to make my bonus. This is how I'm going to make my bonus.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for 4 customers this week. I'm going to go for that's customers. A goal that you're setting for yourself. I'm going to bring 4 customers in this week. I'm going to make sure that all of my tickets are completed in a timely manner. I'm going to make sure that this is what goal I'm going in. And these are goals that you have to look at it. Okay, these are specific goals that I can attain. Realistic goals, not stretch goals. Okay, by the end of this week, I want to have 5,000 new customers. I mean, you got to be reasonable with yourself. You got to look at what's realistic and what is in your power within your power to control to make happen, and then go for it. Don't once you've got them set, don't just say, okay, well, I'll have this done by Friday. No, you start that day and you work on it the whole entire week. Don't even let go. Don't even hold up.
I mean, and what he's saying is, you're starting something new, whether it be a job, class, dance, whatever. It can be very intimidating, scary. That's why there's scary music in the background, because it's scary. And it can be, it's just one of those things. It can be a very difficult transition and situation that that's basically only you would know of how difficult it is. No one else will. And I mean, not knowing what to expect and holding on to only your hope for the best. I mean, I believe that, sometimes attitude is everything in anything that you do. I mean, if you go into a situation with a good attitude, you're guaranteed to have a better result at the end. I mean, and if you were to go into with a bad attitude, no matter how intimidating the situation is, it'll probably be impossible to get to wherever you want to be. Bad attitude is not going to get you very far. And
and the other part of it is, don't do something without a reason for doing it. Okay, I mean, literally, if you're going to set a goal, you have it in mind. Actually, don't do it if it's going to be a useless exercise. There's a difference between doing an exercise versus doing something that's going to actually help you be where you need to be. So be very mindful of what your goals are, because I mean, literally, okay, I want to do this. Just don't do it as a homework project. Do it as, okay, this is something I really need to get done. I need to do this. I need to be successful. And one thing that a prior supervisor of mine told me once, that I can't take hopes and dreams to the bank. And it's true. You can't. You have to do something that is realistic and something that is going to actually work. You can't just go and say, okay, well, I hope by this week I'm going to have this much money, for that. You need to, okay, if this is the money you need to know, are you doing everything that's going to get you? So there you go. There's where we are for hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
for new beginnings.
But yeah, for new beginnings, that's kind of all we have for that for right now. You're listening to a Dreamer's Paranormal Journal with Linda and Jason Hernandez. You're just heard basically 7 tips for new beginnings. And now we're going to go into UFOs. It was just a kind of a weird topic that came up. I saw it. And
It's
I was
like a 360 turnaround from where we're at.
Gotta keep going.
About face. We're the hodgepodge of topics tonight.
So if you have anything about anything you want to talk about, just call in and let us know what you want to talk about, and we'll go from there. Even if it's totally off topic, we'll go with it. We'll just go with it. Even email me or email the page or message the page on Facebook, and we'll go ahead and start with whatever you guys want to talk about. Well, and then from there, we're just going to go ahead and go into the UFOs. Let's see. Apparently there's a few sightings today. And I can't find it. And I'll let you go ahead and read the UFO sightings.
Okay. Well, let's see what we got going on here. After publishing an article in Fate magazine and a live appearance on the History Channel special, both stories with a focus on unidentified submerged object, USOs, author and UFO researcher Preston Dennett received a flood of emails and letters for the new witnesses detailing many dramatic USO cases that had never been revealed before. Along the way, he discovered that the Southern California coast is one of the world's most active areas for undersea or USO reports. These reports date back to the late 1940s. They continue to this day. After years of research, Preston Dennett has come to the startling conclusion that there is an undersea UFO base in the Santa Catalina Channel, located along the U.S. Pacific coast. In this presentation, he will present the results of his investigations into the USO situation around the world, including his evidence, the government surveillance of USOs and the ensuing cover-up, photographs of UFOs and USOs, and a visual presentation of eyewitness accounts. Preston Dennett is a MUFON, MUFON, certified UFO investigator and the author of 16 books, along with 100 published essays of UFOs and alien encounters.
Maybe we should go into what UFO actually means. Unidentified flying objects.
UFOs are unidentified flying objects, and USOs are unidentified sea objects. So bearing what?
This is just...
Okay, you told me to.
I know.
You do. So let's talk about that. UFOs been around for quite some time. I mean, you see pictures dating back to the beginning of civilization that people drew on walls when it came back to ancient Greece or the pre-civilization eras of people, cavemen even writing on walls UFOs that they had seen. So they've been around for quite some time. So I mean, there's always, okay, is this real or is this people making them up, or is there actually life out there other than ourselves? So with that being said, we got to look at all the elements of it. I mean, you have religion gets involved here. You've got your scientists that get involved here, and there's all these different opinions of if they are. Now, have people seen UFOs? I mean, I've seen things go through that I haven't been able to see in the sky. When I lived in Washington State, I saw different things flying over that I don't believe were of the Air Force or regular airplane or, you know, the regular aeronautic type things that you deal with, aerospace type things that you see around that are just different, you know. So, but again, you can't discount any fact that the possibility does exist that they're there, that they come from it. So we have to really look at what kind of encounters that people look at and say, okay, you know, there's too many of them here to say no, there is no UFOs.
Look at the
doesn't make sense.
Circles.
Circles.
I don't understand that, though.
I mean, those are interesting in themselves.
It looks like somebody's just drawing and having a really good time.
It looks like it, but if you look at it, you can't push down crop circles in that degree. I mean, they tested that actually. Could a man actually make a crop circle the similar way that some of these have been found? No, they could not mimic it. Those aren't as easy to mimic as people think that they are. So going back from that, we've got 10 different UFO cases here that include close encounters from 7 states.
Well, hold on, wait.
Okay. What?
Okay. So the crop circles, this is my theory on it.
Okay.
You know how people get like tattoos of like a word or something? Mm-hmm. What if they're just tattooing the earth? And it actually is like a word in their language of some kind. Like it's a word. We just don't know it because, like, you know how like in Japanese, like it's just the writing.
Right.
So it's their language on land because they can
look
do
at how far in the sky you can see it. And I guess the way, there's no definitive as to what the point is. But if you look at it from a logic standpoint, it looks like some kind of signal of some kind. Most of them, if you look at it, they're aiming somewhere, or it's a message of some kind when it comes to it. And if you're up and high enough and you're trying to see what you're trying to do, I mean, it may be impressions of actual spaceships that have landed in those areas too as well. They're landing in crops so that they can't be seen. I mean, it's one of those things where they're doing that. But who knows?
I mean, sometimes it just looks like a big motherboard circuit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it looks like. Possible. It's a circuit.
Who knows? It's either that or, you know, I mean, it could be several different things. A lot of people, a lot of different ideas as to what it is, but no definite answer. But I can tell you, it's not very easy to create them because they've tried to create them and they haven't been able to say, oh, look at me. I mean, you can't just take a tractor out there and make a circle perfectly like these have come out.
Well, okay, so we had one person just send us a message right now saying that while he was on duty at a correctional facility, they saw a triangular object in the south. It was a clear night and the moon was not out. The object flew over them very slowly, appearing to be going only about 5 miles per hour, and then disappeared. I mean, stuff like that just doesn't come in and go. But I mean, sometimes, and we did have that thing, remember, where they had, was it that silver balloon or something? And everybody thought it was a freaking UFO. Mm-hmm. And all it was a hot air balloon, a silver hot air balloon it was just stuck in mid-flight, I think. Right. Nobody was in it. I think it was honestly just like a test or something. Yeah, and they just, everybody, it was on the news all day until they were able to go over there and figure it out or fly over it. It was made a lot of people look very stupid. Made a lot of people look very stupid. And
that's, you know, where it all boils down to. And I mean, I don't know. You have to look at it as, okay, if there's one or two, you can dismiss those. But if as many as you've got here, I mean, honestly, let's be honest. Our eyes can't play tricks on us.
Yeah.
Our eyes, our brains see weird things, and we do we can't discard anything that we see as being
Right.
anything. I mean, because what we perceive it to be and what it really is two different things. So yeah, you can't. With that being said, you can't discount this. I mean, a lot of people, oh, it's a hoax. Oh, they took this picture and super. Yeah, you can do all that. You've got the technology to make anything look like like anybody's from. I'm seeing a UFO sighting by this big picture that I'm putting in there, but you can't just do that all the time. All these you can't just say, oh, these are nothing but fake pictures. No, sorry, it doesn't work that way. In all truthfulness, there's got to be something out there there's more to it than meets the eye. And of course, we're not going to know it all until something happens where they just say, okay, here we are. This is how we're here. Deal with it. I mean, that could be very well how it happens. I mean, literally, it's honestly, if they've got the technology to fly out here, they've got the technology to make themselves known to us when they're ready for us to know. I mean, it's simple as that.
Well, I think we might have a caller here soon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, let me see if we can get this caller in. And in the meantime,
we do have another message coming in here that from Southern California, rural area 40 miles from Sacramento. A security guard was traveling to a construction site to a relative, I'm sorry, not a relative, to relieve another officer near a levee of McClathy Road west of Yuba City when he noticed a glowing white light amongst the trees. As he continued in the direction toward the light, he continued to observe it until it came within about 650 yards of the object. During the 5 minutes that he observed the object, he noted its saucer-like shape as it glided a few feet above the tree line. So here we go, Southern California. Honestly, you're going to notice a lot of these sightings are around the plains area, the flatlands, where it's a lot easier to spot them. I mean, I know when I was in Washington, I was in the mountains, but it's a lot. But I did see things that could be considered UFOs. So it's not impossible. They're out there. They're out there.
Oh, well, there was a joke though.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle, this is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, so basically, there's a UFO following him. Following a lady. We'll say a lady for, censor's sake. It was following a lady, an overweight lady. And, finally, after a while, it reaches it. And, the UFO, the aliens UFO were all like, hey, I can't believe a cow is actually driving a car. And it was actually just an overweight lady. So there's a joke. But I can't say the name because it's not nice. It's not nice, but it's funny.
Ouch. Okay.
It's funny.
Yeah, I think I know where this is going. But, yeah, I mean, it kind of brings to you look at it from a joke standpoint, that's very true, but they're very interested in us for some reason. I mean, it's like we're not as developed as they are. Obviously, if they can fly from wherever they came from and they're here, right. It's interesting how curious, the curiosity that they have of us. If they're watching, they're following and watching.
The sad part is if we were to have other life forms here, we would do the exact same thing as far as probing goes.
Oh, sure.
I mean, so it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do it. They're going to do it. There's no, hey, how are you doing this call? Let's open you up and see what's inside. There's no medium to this at all. I mean, I wish there was. And maybe that would change a few things here. But until then, I mean, for all we know, there's, Area 51, whatever. I don't care. It's got them in there in plastic tubes. Who knows? And I mean, the freaking aliens probably do the same thing. They probably like, that's why people go missing, and then they have us in plastic tubes. I mean, it's just a round circle that keeps going.
It's like that movie, The Fourth Kind. I mean, that was based on an alien abduction movie. I mean, literally, a lot of true statements that came from that. I thought I thought it was pretty interesting how they got the historical, and they did the showed the abduction, the video of what they had from it. And it kind of fits in with paranormal, and a lot of it, the way it goes from it, because of the energy that was used in order to abduct these people, were similar to what ghosts do when they're in a house. They interrupt the electrical systems that are in the house. The recording equipment that was going from it were showing how when they were having the encounter with the aliens, how these people reacted when the aliens basically, the way it looked like, possessed their body. I mean, at the same time, these people had broken backs and different things because of the aliens taking them, from that, showing where they were. It was a really good movie. Definitely, if you haven't seen The Fourth Kind, that's one I would recommend. It's a really good read about alien abduction. So they always, they have the close encounters of the first, second, third, and fourth kind. Fourth kind is the actual abduction. So they were doing what they were trying to reenact, what the abduction that had happened to these people in Nome, Alaska. Mm-hmm. So it was real good. I think the way they looked at it, because the voices that were coming through on the video were from ancient Samaria. So one of the oldest languages known to man. They were Sumerian language, and that's how they were communicating back from that. So it was interesting how that came about. But yeah, if you do get a chance to watch that movie, it's really, really good.
Very good. It freaked me out a little bit, just a little bit, not too bad.
I mean, honestly, it's not a horror flick, more of a suspense movie.
Makes you think.
But it does definitely make you think. I know when I watched it the first time, I had to go check on my son that night because one of the children got abducted by the aliens. Yeah. So it was like, oh my God, I gotta go check my son's there. So it was one of those things. But yeah, if you get a chance to see it, it's pretty good movie.
There's a lot of things out there we can't explain. It goes along with, the paranormal, and there's just stuff out there that we all try to research on our own to explain and to understand ourselves, because it's better for us to learn than to try to get somebody else to tell us something that doesn't even make sense, like binary code to a kid. I mean, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna understand unless you try to look for it yourself. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to try to open your mind to these new things and experience it all, or not experience it, or just know about it. It doesn't hurt to know. I mean, just not being ignorant about things is better than just being closed-minded. There's a lot of closed-minded people out there, and it's horrible. It's horrible because there's just so much. There's just too much out there to not be open-minded.
I mean, it goes back to what we talked about in the first show when we were here. When we did our first show, we talked about there is so much that our human mind that we don't know. I mean, we only use 20% of our brain. So if we were able to use 30% of or we use 10% of our brain, if we were able to use 20% of our brain, we think about what we can comprehend with that much more knowledge.
Comprehend a lot.
You can see a lot of things and understand. You could see different depths. You could see different. You'd be able to look at things in such a different light with that much more. So the potential of things like aliens and paranormal and different things, there's nothing saying that it's not possible, except for the people that are closed-minded to it. No, it's not possible. The Bible says there's no such thing as aliens. There's
Yeah,
no such thing as
but
ghosts.
how did
but
we get here?
yeah, gotta think about that one. Always keep an open mind.
I mean, how did we get here? How did the pyramids get made? I mean, that stuff didn't just happen overnight. And the way they were able to make those buildings, it's like the architectural, some of it's more advanced than we are today. And then they were able to get lighting through the whole place. Even though it was by candle, they were still able to get lighting. And even if you go in there today, most of the candles are still there to be lit.
Yep.
I mean, how do you not know how to do that? It's somebody was there to show them these things, and I truly believe that they showed them just enough, and then when they noticed things were getting too bad, they're like, "See ya, you're on your own. Pieces," and they said out. And now they come back every once in a while to see if it's gotten any better, and if it hasn't, they just report back saying, hey, these guys are dumb. Or these guys did this shit, or they're in war again, so let's just sit back and watch. Who knows? Maybe we're like a big, huge reality show to them, and they want to see what we're doing, and they're like, oh, here we are today, the stupid people of the world. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. We're just, we're here, and we just need to, get with it, and try to open up that space and be like, hey, you know what? Things are going on around us, and we need to be more open to it. I mean, we only live with our own day-to-day lives. We watch Facebook. It's like Facebook is a blocker or a distractor from what's going on in the real world. And you have to get away from that once in a while. I know I'm addicted to it, but you have to put it down once in a while and look around and be like, hey, what's going on? Government, everything's going on around us. But in order to, deflect it or make us not think about it, they put a little cute bunny or a kitty on Facebook, and then we're done. We don't care anymore. And that's what it is. People are constantly trying to distract us from what's actually going on out there. So we study paranormal, we study spirits. Spirits are still here. Why are they still here? We don't know, but we ask. The other thing is, if they're still here, we ask them and we try to help them move on. And if they can't move on, why can't they move on? What's leaving them here? Why can't they go on to the next phase? Because then that tells me that I'm going to be stuck here for the next how many years that I won't know until I'm finally able to move on. So my thought was on these spirits that are still here is this is their purgatory. Their purgatory is still here until they're able to finish or, done suffering and watching the suffering around them until they can move forward. I mean, but for all we know, the light that people see at the end of the tunnel is just them being reborn again in some way, shape, or form. So there's just so much out there that you have to think about. And I think a lot because I'm a girl. And I think a lot. And it's just it's just a lot of theories that do make sense sometimes, and then a lot of far-fetched ones that are like, hey, I'm going to become a mermaid next time, I want to become a mermaid. Forget everybody else. That is goals in life for me. Mermaid. But I know that won't happen. So the next best thing is just to buy a tail and just go swim. That's how you become yourself.
She has one.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things to think about in this world of everything and technology. I mean, in technology, think about it. There's no cords. We're all wireless. Information is being traveled through the air to your computers. I mean, you're listening to us from a computer and a speaker, and you're not in the same room, which means it's being traveled through air, through space of some kind, and information is traveling in front of us. Whether we see it or not, it's traveling in front of our faces. So what's to say somebody sees a speck of light? That speck of light is just not a glitch in what we're actually seeing. It's not a glitch in the system. Or, I mean, if somebody's just like, oh, that's because your eyesight. I mean, I see specks of light all freaking days sometimes. And it's at random spurts. And the way they look, it looks like a circuit. That you're following the circuit on a circuit board or a light on a circuit. And that's where I think the information is coming around. And that's how it travels. It's magic. I mean, technology is magic. Whether you look at it however you want to look at it, it's magic. I mean, I try to understand it, and then you see these kids doing codes to do hacks and stuff, and try to steal your information through bitcoins and all this crap. And all it was is just a simple code or way to do it. Like, we've been watching House, and what really stuck with me was the spinal cord. It's just strings of wire that transfers information from your brain to the rest of your body, basically. It's just all wires. They may look different. They're veins. We call them veins, but they're still technically wires that go to the brain. And those wires can be replaced sometimes. Now they are. They've already, replaced our heart with just a pump. They bypassed the heart altogether, and the guy's still living. So, I mean, we can be fixed. Our technology is getting better. The paranormal is getting more in depth and more, yes, we still have those jerks out there that are just out there for the money and the glitz and the glory of it. Those guys we just have to watch out for and just, give them a high five or a clap once in a while so they make them feel better. Just go, oh yeah, you're doing a good job, you look awesome on TV, and just walk away. But for those out there that are actually working on it, that are actually trying to figure this out, I have the dolls, and the reason why is because it's interesting that there's still a spirit here attached, so I want to know more. But I'm not on TV. I'm not on TV exploiting them because one of them actually told me not to be doing that kind of crap. So I'm not going to do it. But we're just, I don't know. I just really wish people that are fake would quit their shit. Plain and simple, they need to quit their shit. Because it makes the rest of them look bad. It makes everybody else look bad. So everybody has their egos up in the fucking air and need to knock their shit off and not be doing this shit anymore. Because in the end, they're just going to get hurt. In the end, they're going to get possessed. In the end, they're going to die a really painful death. And it'll be by what? Because they pissed off a ghost. What am I supposed to do? Like the other day, what was it, a singer? She was on air. She was singing. And she was on stage. And because her ego was so far up, she got bit by a cobra. The cobra was not defanged. And she died within minutes of the song because she didn't want to get an antidote because she thought she was better than that. She was above it all. And what happened? She died for something very stupid because she wanted to play with fire. And that's what happened. You play with fire, you get burned. Sometimes you don't live from it, and you need to learn.
Mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Exactly. And Anika, she's got a really good spunk to her. She gets mad. She shows you. Like the other day, freaking Jason just had an energy drink open. It had already been open. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it spurts up like we had just opened it. Like it had been shook and then... And the problem is that these guys have gotten so good is, the bottle will be sitting there for a while. And if he goes and opens the bottle, it explodes on him. If I open it, it's fine. That's fine. Nothing happens to me. But if he opens it, the joke is to see how badly they can get the splatter to go all over the place. Because they know it bugs him.
Yes, it does.
And they know it irks him, so they do it. Mm-hmm. So the only thing is other people need to figure out. At
least the lights don't explode on me, either.
Well, hey, you know what? I was yelling, okay? I was yelling, and they got mad at me because I yelled, and they exploded all the lights in the bathroom. But
they just like to play. They play fun pranks on me.
Yeah, they play the. Let's see how bad
they like me.
Scare them.
That's a term of endearment, at least. They don't explode lights on me.
Yeah, I could take it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll beat their butts.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them, but I'm gonna try.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are, 10 minutes till we're done. And I'm just gonna let you know we are on Wolf Paw Radio. And Wolf Paw Radio also hosts other shows like Girl Talk, the Chat Room Morning Show, and Two Irish Girls Uncensored. You're listening to A Dreamer's Paranormal Journal with Linda and Jason Hernandez. And we're just talking about UFOs, paranormal issues, any issues, everyday life. And if you have anything you'd like to, or like for us to talk about on air, just let me know. And of course, it'll be on air. And if you want to come on air and talk with us, that's cool too. You just give us a call or text me and I'll give you a number and we can go ahead and go from there. And that being said, our inspirational quote for this week will be to go with, the 7 signs of a new beginning. Will be to the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. And continue doing your best the rest of the week. It's going to be hard, but we're going to get through this together no matter what.
I love that saying too, because remember when you are doing your best for today that your best was good for today, but tomorrow you're going to do better. And always go with that mentality. Everything that your best was good enough for today, tomorrow it's going to be better. If you go in with that mentality every day, you can't fail. It was actually a saying that I used to use when I was with Verizon Wireless. That was the company's saying. Your best was good enough for today, tomorrow you'll be better. And now it drove me. I mean, literally, that was the one. I've been in several different corporations. I've worked for several different corporations, but that one in particular, it spoke to me. And I've heard I don't know how many mission statements, different parts in there, but it's the truth of the matter is your best is always good enough for today. Tomorrow it's going to always be better. And look at that. I mean, that's just in itself. You're preparing for tomorrow by doing your best today. I mean, that's amazing. I love it. It's perfect.
And it's saying that just for the rest of the week, the goal is tell somebody that you're working with or somebody with you, somebody, or even your husband, your daughter, your son, anybody. Tell them you're doing good. You did a good job today. You know that you don't know what they did. Just say you did a good job today, and that's it. That's all you need to say this week to anybody is you did a good job, and that's all you say. It might be weird, but that person will feel better about themselves, and who knows, it might save someone's life in the end.
That's right.
Just that one little acknowledgement makes their lives that much better. So I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show here. Thank you guys for listening. And I hope to see you all next week on Monday at 9 o'clock.
Call in. We need you. We need to hear from you. We want to hear. We want to have a guest speaker. If you want to be a guest speaker on our show, just give us even a couple hours notice. We'll put you on. We'll get you going. We'll get you set up. Don't be afraid to chime in. I mean, this is open mic. I mean, give yourself a chance to voice out what's important to you, what drives you. We want to hear what you're passionate about. We want to hear what makes you what drives you,
or what makes you tick. Who knows?
Whatever works. What grinds your gears. I mean, if something's irritating you too, let us know what's irritating you. Let's talk it out. Let's get everybody involved and have make something good happen here. But we appreciate you guys' time. Thank you so much.
And remember, you are awesome, and you all have done a very good job, no matter what it was. Again, thank you for listening.
Thank you all so much.
And have a good night, everyone.
Take care, all.